I wanted to circle back around to what Mike Ryan was saying about the kids wanting to refer to whatever this AI is that The Weeknd and Drake put out as bop.
A good song is a bop.
Not anymore.
No, I still see tweets that say it's a bop.
4 years ago, yeah.
No, there's still tweets that say it's a bop.
Because you see it on Twitter.
And Dan just said bop.
Everything.
Tony
Not a bop.
and Tony and Billy had a lot of opinions about young people and music and Coachella, and I have not been keeping track of Coachella. Tony says,
"Why would you?"
Bad Bunny dominated it, and Billy says, "I'm not welcome to Coachella, that there are already plenty of old people at Coachella who need to get out of Coachella because it needs to be a thing for young people."
This again, Dan, that's not fair. I just asked the question, should there be an age limit for things like Coachella?
What would your age limit be?
Leonardo DiCaprio should not be at Coachella.
How old is Leo?
Wait, how else is he going to find a new girlfriend?
50? He's got to be 50, right?
Dan, the storyline is not Leo. It's not age limits. Nice.
Thank you.
Excellent.
It's Bad Bunny dominating. It's La Música Latina dominating. That's the most important part of this Coachella. Why are you saying "old boy" back there? Like, who you are, Jeremy? Like, what's wrong with you? Whoa!
Wow.
Everyone's lashing out at each other
Latin
today.
music has just surpassed $1 billion in revenue. Think about that, Billy. $1.1 billion in revenue for Latin music.
What does that mean?
This year, they've made $1.1 billion in revenue in the Latin music scene. You want me to explain it to you again?
It's just very vague. Latin music has made $1 billion. In what?
In money.
No,
like, what are we talking about here?
I mean, Coachella's been really good about introducing those different types of music to the mainstream. I know that they had a Punjabi artist play for the first time. I've discovered the Who, not the actual Who with spinning guitars.
There's another Who?
There's a metal band out of Asia that I discovered there, and they put Bad Bunny and J Balvin, I think, on the map in the mainstream, even though they were already headed there a couple of years ago. Coachella's a taste-making festival, and it is for the masses, and I like that. I think the thing that I came away with most impressed by with Coachella, because I watched a lot of the live stream, and there's a whole big scandal and controversy surrounding one of their headliners in Frank Ocean that I'd like to get to. But I think as music becomes harder to differentiate, as production kind of all just goes for what can pop on a TikTok. I was riding around in Savannah, Georgia, and I heard this Miguel song. I was 12 years old, and I heard it come up on the radio 3 separate times. I'm like, this can't be a coincidence. Why is Sure Thing all of a sudden playing now? And I found out it blew up on TikTok. It's a song that was released 12 years ago. Great song, but now it's having its moment. I was actually really interested in this band called Knock Loose. And I think metalcore and metal music is actually going to come up because as you have AI-generated music, as you have all these acts that are essentially made for TikTok, I think people are going to crave some authenticity with their music.
You think it's AI proof?
I would love to hear how AI replicates the feeling that you get thrashing at a metal show.
People screaming? You think AI can't do screamo? Or whatever that music is?
Tony was making faces at
because he says metalcore's on the way up. No, Papi, Hispanic music's on the way up.
No,
Forget
they're
about
not on
metal,
the way up.
new
They're here.
metalcore, whatever the hell it is.
No, they're on the way here. Look, you don't have to be dismissive just because you don't like it. Like it's
Yeah, he does.
I like all the. I'm very eclectic. I was watching Becky G and I watched the Bad Bunny and I saw the terrible portion where Post Malone came and ruined everything. I do think that I find myself gravitating towards these high energy rock shows as I've gotten older, and I've always been into rock, but I've liked all the other stuff. And I think that I think now where music is headed, that kind of experience is going to have a premium attached to it. And I think you're going to see bands like Turnstile and Knock Loose really start blowing up a little bit. I saw Turnstile got announced for Rolling Loud. That's going to be a moment in time.
But Mike, aren't you really just articulating live music, right?
No, no.
Why no?
Because look what Frank Ocean did yesterday.
Okay, but
live music has basically become listening parties.
So 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, I went to Dreamville Fest, and I'm telling you, seeing Waka Flocka live, there's nothing.
It's energy,
crazy.
but Waka Flocka serves as a hype man for his own music. There's a different energy that goes with metal shows than there is for other shows. It's just true. In pop music, a lot of it's just so they do live tuning now. They have all these overproduced aspects to it that you can't really differentiate what's the singer's voice and what's production. I mean, Frank Ocean, most of Frank Ocean's headlining set at Coachella, he just put in an aux cord and did a listening party to his own music.
Frank Ocean, you're taking an exception, right? Like, his show was exceptionally bad, right? And this is a first-hand account. He was 1.5 hours late. He would have really long, weird, and silent pauses throughout his set, like 2 minutes of pure silence. He kept bringing on people, but not even participating in the song, just letting them sing or DJ. There was also a 6-minute rave in the middle of his concert. His whole stage setup was made so the audience could not see him. No matter how close we were, we couldn't see the stage, so everyone had to watch the screen the whole time. The screen itself would rarely even show him too. You'll see in the videos posted later from this person's account. Conclusion, people travel, blah, 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 blah. Right? So, like, that's not a...
That's just a tip of the iceberg.
But you think that's typical?
No, I'm not arguing that that's typical.
But you're using it as an example.
No, I'm
like,
saying
that would never happen in a rock show.
I'm saying
never happen at most shows.
No, I'm saying what's typical of metalcore shows and metal music is that energy, that authenticity is different than pop music, hip hop music, and all that stuff. So it's and even most rock music at this point, most rock music on that card also seems very processed. I'm just saying, like, metal, I think, is going to have a moment. I think people are going to veer towards the authenticity. And I say that as a fan of all types of music. And by the way, your Frank Ocean tidbits, tip of the iceberg. He had an entire ice rink assembled. That was going to be the performance. He was going to come out in the middle of an ice rink, and he had ice skaters. They all rehearsed. And the day of the show, he said, no, I'm not doing any of that. And they had to disassemble, thaw out the ice, and they had to disassemble everything. And at the last second, he said, no, I'm not going to do the live stream. And Coachella had to pull the plug on the live stream. It might get litigious before weekend 2.
So he was a little late. He had some awkward pauses. He screwed up the live stream. Are we sure it wasn't just his first day at a new studio?
Or Love is Blind.